Talking about the first one I've got to say to you, the Spurs disallowed goal, for example, at Chelsea. It's a funny one. I keep changing my mind, Neil, to be honest. The more I see it, I think he's a little bit unlucky, Harry Kane. And I initially I thought it was a free kick. What was your take on it?
I didn't think it was a foul, mate, if I'm honest. But I can understand why you give it, because the actions are there. But he makes such a meal of it to go down like he did. I thought he would have rolled a few times as well to just top it.
Yeah.
But that I can understand that one. The other one I can't. I just can't get my head around the other one. The other one, I've had 2 run-ins with Craig Pawson, who was the VAR man, and both games against Chelsea. You don't want to get Chelsea when he's refereeing. And it cost me about 30 grand altogether, Ali. And I remember at Crystal Palace, I think it was Scott Daniel got booked for nothing really early on. And then John Terry did a worse foul, and he puts his arm round Craig Pawson, and they're talking, and he gets away with it. Because in my press I said, if that were one of my players, he'd get booked. And that cost about 20 grand. And I just look at it, and these people in FA, I think it's the invisible man Tariq Shamal, they call him, the guy who was in charge. And I've got a piece of paper here, which I was going to ask him anyhow. Before I got the sack, I was going to ring him. But in one of the papers earlier this season, it was Pep Guardiola and having a dig at Liverpool and Man United. He said, it was clear, 25 minutes left, and it was 1-1. Now I'm more and less satisfied because we drew. But had we lost, I would be more angry because it's clear, it's Anfield, it's like Old Trafford. In our situation, a City player is sent off, 100%. Now that is the same as what I said. Mm-hmm. But do they charge Pep? Do they charge the top manager? Do they? Hell, they get away with murder, the top clubs. And on Saturday, I thought it had a great opportunity for a referee to actually do the good thing, and that is, Kevin Friend, when he said Craig Pawson, I turned to William, my lad, and I said, well, that's a penalty then if he's doing it. He said, he can't be, Dad. I said, you wait. Then they look at it 40 times. Then they called Kevin Friend over. And as he's going over, I'm saying to William, he's got to show what's between his legs now. He's got to go over and say, no, I think my decision was right. And if he'd have done that, the credibility that referees would have got.
100%, Neil.
And instead of doing that, he goes over and changes his mind to the worst decision. I mean, anybody that's played the game, and that's where these lads come up wrong. They know the laws. I mean, Shankly used to say, they know the rules, they don't know the game. And on situations like this, I think it's got to have somebody that's played the game in VAR with them. Because they don't understand. They don't understand how players react. They're good at everything 90%. I mean, they're 2 good referees in general, Pawson and Kevin Friend. But when it comes to something that you've got to have played the game, did they let themselves down yesterday or what? Big time.
I tell you, Neil,
I totally agree with Neil. I think there should always be someone on VAR 100%. Who's played the game.
I just think as soon as they go over to that monitor,
as soon as they say have a look,
as soon as they say have a look, they're either going to change their mind.
There was an incident at Brentford at the weekend where the guy got sent off. And it was never sending off in a million years. I know in the end he got the right decision. Yes. He got a yellow card in the end. Yeah. But there's so many decisions that go against clubs which you think, well, how did it get to that decision?
Well, I just think, Neil, I don't know whether you agree or not. When it comes to major decisions, it's VAR that's refereeing the game. It's not the referee.
It is, yeah, and that's the disappointment. I mean, it's taking a lot of pressure off referees because they can blame the VAR now, whereas they couldn't get away with it in the past. But, this weekend's not been a good one. You know what I think about Mike Riley. And these lads are just like him as a referee. They are just like him. They know the rules inside out, but no idea about the actual game and what how it evolves. So I remember Craig Pawson, even at Cardiff, when Chelsea, can remember that offside goal, 2 bloody yards offside that did us at Cardiff. And the linesman, Ed Smart and Craig Pawson there. There's just times that these guys, they don't understand it, and they come up short at times when it's like that. In general, 90%, like I say, they're decent refs. But anything like that where they've got to have a bit of common sense of knowledge of the game, they don't teach them that. They only teach them about the rules and what they should do. They don't teach them about the actual game itself.
Well, here's an interesting one that probably backs that up, Neil Ray. We're going to hear from Darren Ambrose, who told Darren Bent's boot room that the big clubs always seem to get these decisions.
And I must say, an absolutely outrageous penalty decision.
I'm with you.
Absolutely outrageous. Diogo Jota has waited for Guaita to come out. He's missed the ball. He's run into the goalkeeper and they've given a penalty. Sorry, no team gets that other than Liverpool.
Neil?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, I go back to Sheffield United days. My first game in Premier League at Bramall Lane, and Gerrard goes through and skips over Morgan's leg, and it doesn't catch him, and then he shoots, and we save it, and then Rob Stiles, never forget, gives the penalty and says it was for intent. Other teams don't get decisions like that. No matter what, Klopp knows. They all know at the top level. They all know they get away with murder. In fairness, they have most of the play, so they usually have 70% possession. So they are going to have more free kicks because it's the law of the game that. But they do get the big ones. Like I say, I said to William straight away when he said Craig Pawson's in the VAR, I said, that's definitely it then now. It'll be a penalty, and it's just how it is. I'm afraid some of the young lads, Banks, the other referee, he's another one. Quite, I think he's good 90%, but when he has it, he blows up for 5 minutes at a time, and then it's going to be a bit of a shame now because people like John Moss, Andre Marin are coming to the end of their lifeline. Really, you're not going to replace them. You got people like John Brooks and a lad called Dean White. They're just not good enough. And I look at them and I think, where are they coming from? The next generation. I mean, you take Michael Oliver. The only two that I've seen in the new group are a lad called Jared Gillett, who comes from Australia, and Michael Salisbury. They're both they're both a bit like Michael Oliver in that respect, but apart from that, there's not a lot coming through.
I think the big problem that we've got, looking at it, we all make mistakes, whether you're managers, coaches, players, referees, officials, of course. But the problem I've got, I don't mind the referee making a mistake, Neil. The problem I've got is when they go over to VAR, watch it half a dozen times and then make a mistake.
How many, Ali? How many?
I know.
About 40 times yesterday. I mean, it's supposed to be a clear and obvious error.
Yes.
Well, if you can't tell, I could tell after one looking that it wasn't a penalty, having played the game. Now, if you can't tell after 15, 20 chances that's not a penalty, there's something wrong somewhere. That's not a clear and obvious error, is it?
No, that's just talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Alan McCoy. The voice there you heard was Neil Warnock. Ray Parlour is also with us. Stay with us, guys. It's 8:15.